Hello there! Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Johnny Baghead, as always. It's been a hot minute, I'm sure, but welcome back. It is a Sunday, lazy Sunday. Wake up in the late afternoon. Welcome to the chat, Joe Riel. Why am I here? What's going on? Why have I got my fabulous hairdo on today? Well, for good reason. I don't want to have to deal with my little puppetry stuff today because... Oh, bam! Oh, what happened? This has been a long time coming. So, if people weren't aware... Oh, just careful, I'm hitting buttons on this. If people weren't aware, I have a Throne account where people can peruse things I have on there that are pretty much all primarily related to gaming accessories or equipment that I would use for streaming stuff. Some obviously I would get used for outside the streams, but primarily that's what it's for. And I'm just gonna the mic set up. We're gonna be playing by ear here. We'll see. But these are this is one of them. I have a second one. I'll take that in a sec. But this is a Sinden Lightgun. This is a Lightgun solution for modern displays that doesn't use the CRT method, and I'll get into the technical stuff and explain how it works. But I put as a pie in the sky, like super high, oh who knows if this will ever get funded goal, but this was a pie in the sky. I had two of them on there, the red and the blue, to emulate the arcade colors of Time Crisis 2 and 3. Specifically, this is the model with the recoil actuator. It doesn't move the entire top slide, which when you consider that the camera stuff is there, that makes sense. But it gives you a tactile feel. But those were pie in the sky. Who's gonna fund that? But thanks to very generous donations over the years, this has probably been going on for like 2-3 years, these donations. They are primarily from a fan of mine, also a streamer himself called Flame Wheel. But there was also 1 or 2 anonymous donations as well. But these got funded at the beginning of the year on Throne. But I had some problems. First problem, if you want to withdraw funds on Throne for something that isn't on their store, you have to give identity to prove who you are. And I hadn't done that, and I only had an expired passport. So first I had to renew my passport, which thankfully did not take as long as I thought. That can take potentially a month. Thankfully it got done in like a week. So I got that done, and then got that verified on Throne, got the funds withdrawn, and then when I ordered it, turns out, oh, here's your order. By the way, these are on backlog, so you're gonna have to wait a while because we were closed over Christmas and New Year's. So I've actually had these ordered since the beginning of February, and they only came yesterday, which is where I've been messing with it. But I am very happy, and yes, there are going to be various streams on here messing with these. In particular, I want to do 2 event streams where we go through all the Time Crisis games possible, like the mainline ones, because I found out that there are Android and iOS spin-offs they made, and I don't see how I'd be able to play those. That's going to take some work. Also a House of the Dead marathon, but also I'm looking forward to doing something with this on the Bad Game Hall of Fame, where I'm a co-host and frequent contributor, because we have the Lightgun Extravaganza series, where we cover various rail shooters, because in its heyday, when everyone was putting these out, where people were putting out, dozens of Lightgun and rail shooter games in arcades a year, not all of them were great. There were definitely some mixed quality ones. So being able to showcase them with as close to how you would have played them in the arcade as possible, that's going to be cool. So, how does this work? Okay, this is an interesting bit, so I'm going to swap over. Here we go. So for this, I'm gonna have to do I'm gonna do monitor capture because there's a bit of fiddling around you have to do. But let me just get the configuration program over. Also, you're gonna see me going whoa, whoa a lot because the more distance you have, the better. But let me get display capture on here. Here we go. So this is the software. As mentioned, this is wired in. This is not a wireless gun because you don't want to have to. Yeah, I'm gonna put this here. This might be good. You don't, wireless. You have to start worrying about input delay, things like that. So the way this works. Here, let me go to the main tab here. Here we go. So give it a sec. This will update here. This video thing will catch up. No, not this. Not this. The way this works. Give it a minute. It will update the video here. I'm not sure why it hasn't yet. Let me. There we go. So this is a camera. Hello. Woo. That's what's in here. And the way this works is it detects your monitor in real time. You can see the bottom one there with the blue. That's showing you the tracking. And it looks at the screen and uses algorithms to track where you're pointing on the monitor. And the great thing about this is, compared to some other solutions, is it doesn't matter if you change your angle, it will still track. Now, this is just raw, just capturing the monitor. To get the best detection, you want this on. Now, I don't know if this will show up. Okay, no, this is not showing up on the stream. But what this has done is now there is a white border that has... You can see it in... Actually, yeah, you can see it in the top camera capture there. That it is drawn a border. And using that border now, you look at the bottom part here. And you can see how clean it is now tracking that space. Like I said, I'm going to be moving around a bit because this distance, and I'm going to have to do this, this distance seems to be ideal for my setup. Might even have to put the mic there. Because if you can play with your border, visible on the gun's camera the whole time, that seems to be best for detection. So, like, if you were playing closer and this is happening, it kind of messes up. Because it is light-based, though, I am a bit worried about my stream setup. You'll see there that one of my ring lights sometimes is popping up on the detection thing there. But what this does is it's... Okay, nah, it's not showing up here, but this is currently hijacking my mouse. You can also set up the input to track both the buttons on the controller as well as the cursor. You can set that up to track joypad inputs. But I need to mess with that more because when I tried that, I was having trouble with PCSX2 detecting it, and that's primarily what we're going to be using today. I don't have this set up in other emulators yet, but I know it works in MAME. I know it works in the Mule Shooter, and I think it works... Basically, it works with anything that will just detect a mouse. But yeah. Oh, hang on. There's a question from Jodriel. So, yes, the script, the ones that are currently blacked out, this is here, is so you can use a second light gun. And as I mentioned, yeah, we'll put that down. I do have a second one because that's the That's the package I put on my phone, and someone actually funded it. So yeah, with the current software, it can work with two guns pointed at the same monitor. Now, what I want to do eventually, especially with my nephew, who's played some of these with me, is to do the link cable stuff with Time Crisis 2 and 3 and do it on separate monitors. But I'm going to have to do some research on that. I think I might have to do some more technical stuff of running multiple instances of the software, because I don't think the current software has the ability to draw this border on multiple monitors. But I have to look into that. But this is the one. This is the one I've got plugged in and set up. So this is the one we're going to be using. But here's where you can see the bindings. You have both when you're pointing at the screen and when you're pointing off screen bindings, which is nice to have. Yeah, hang on a sec. Here we go. Turn that off because we don't need that right now. And I'm not sure what modifier is. I haven't looked at these. And then, yep, here's the recoil. Yeah, let me turn this on quick. There we go. So that, I don't know if this is coming from, hang on, let me put it here. Oh wait, no, it's, okay, it comes for a bit. But this is the single. If I set it to mix, it also, if I hold the trigger down, we get click, 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 click. Like that. But you can see there's a lot of setting up for how exactly you want this as well. Like I said, though, also, yeah, doing mouse navigation with these is a bit funky. When you're actually, hang on. There we go. When you're actually running it in game, most game software has like smoothing, whereas like you see, it's picking up my slightest like shakes and things there. But this, it's even got more advanced stuff. So this is so that emulators can send recoil data to the controller. This is apparently a more advanced thing for specific games to send recoil data. And then there's also just extra calibration. Cursor offset. This is actually a nice setting. I didn't realize what this was at first. I currently have it set to 4x3 because everything I'm playing in PCX2 is set to 4x3. And what that means is the cursor offset is kind of fit for this. But you can make custom offsets if you're playing something where the cursor in game and the mouse is offset. And then yeah, here you got your upgrade the firmware in the gun. And then I didn't get this, and I don't think I'll get theirs because it's very expensive, though I think there's some extra functionality. Sinden also make arcade quality like pedals that are based off the pedals for Time Crisis machines, and that's where you can configure this. I think I'm just gonna find a cheaper USB one and buy that. Now, what's nice is you can set. Apparently, this is set up so that it will, even if you have a separate USB device in plugged as your pedal, it will detect it as like one input. But in terms of buttons, we have two buttons here, a D-pad, and two buttons here, and then this moves as a like a pump action reload. But I currently have that mapped to a button. But here, let me have some water, and then we'll mess around with stuff. Here, let me put my drink down there. Let me turn that off. Alright. Okay, I think just to mess with it, I'm gonna load up Time Crisis 2 first, because I know that works, and thanks to a PlayStation 2 like ROM hacker called Sasuka, who's a fan of the Bad Game Hall of Fame, actually. Shout outs. We have a no flashing patch for this one. Not everything's gonna have that, unfortunately. Who knows? I might at some point see if I can send him some money and be like, hey, do you mind trying to make non-flashing patches for these other PS2 games? But I have to do a few things first. I have to get the game running, and then I need to kick it into full screen to get rid of the mouse cursor on my end. And then let me turn the border on. There we go. And then in this software, there is a button that will resize the game for the border. So here we go. I'll say, from what I can tell with the way PCSX2 works with these calibration screens, it doesn't really matter, because it will always, it's just mapping to the mouse. Maybe if you're setting it up as a joystick, but there you go. You can see my tracking there, and you can see like there's a little bit of wobble, but it's a bit more stable than the mouse tracking looked. And if you want it like a lot more smoother, but like I said, this is it's picking up like every body movement kind of thing, so there's only a certain amount you'll get. I'm just looking at my volume for the game here. I think that's okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this to the microphone. But I will say, for Time Crisis and stuff, I do want to get foot pedals, because I like to play like this, like both hands on the handle, but there's no buttons you can reach like that on this controller. They're all here. So yeah. Actually, I think I need to turn people up.
To launch a nuclear satellite into space. VSSE has dispatched 2 agents to prevent the launch. Keith Martin.
Yeah, we'll put it up there.
Robert Baxter.
Keith Martin and Robert Baxter.
There's some news.
Christy Ryan.
Oh. I thought I put that patch on. Hang on a second.
Time Crisis.
Give me a second. I want to fix that. Patches. Sound fix for FMV scenes. Well, I have that patch on, but it doesn't seem to be fixing it. Oh well. Oh, here, let me there we go. Alright. Yeah, I might have to look into that. But yeah, I only messed with this a little bit yesterday, and also tried to get some of the credits unlocked. We'll do some story mode. I'll say weight-wise, these are closer to the weight like an actual arcade Lightgun feels like. If you're more familiar with the home ones that Namco made, the Gun Cons like 1 through 3, that it's heavier than those, because those are empty. They don't have any, you know, like vibration or mechanical movement in them.
It's me, Christy. I found some data about the satellite network. Haven't the agents left yet?
Keith and Robert are on their way. No one can beat them.
Yeah,
Keith and
especially
Robert?
that way. It would be nice if I could
Well,
hold it both at the
appears
handle.
We have a guest.
But this is fun enough.
Like we caught you just in time. A light like this would have been problematic.
Yeah, that patch does not seem to be helping with the 7V audio issue.
Punch like that, and you think you're gonna conquer the world, and it's
But this was actually the first PlayStation 2 game I
The
owned.
plan is, idea.
It's a weird one to start with, but I got the PlayStation 2 very late.
Action!
But it's not really talked about, but this version, this PS2 version, isn't just Time Crisis 2. It's actually it's technically a remake. It's just no one ever talks about it that way. But the visuals, like all the character models, the textures, environment models are completely redone. And also, like the music is also rearranged to, you know, like higher quality versions. Oh, you know, all the Time Crisis games besides 5 all have PlayStation home ports. Oh, that was bad. No, the old, like, interestingly, this is, and it's kind of cool. The actual sound effects, like voice work, is the same. It's just higher quality than the arcade version. Because people probably forget, Time Crisis 2 was 97. It took a very long time until we had a system that could run the game. And by the time we got one, you know, the PlayStation 2, a lot more graphically advanced than the arcade it originally ran on. So yeah, it's, again, all the graphics are redone. The music is like higher quality. Yeah, that was dumb. There we go. And yeah, they still had the voice samples, thankfully. So we get the same voice acting, but, you know, like higher quality. Oh, I should dodge that. And a really interesting change I didn't realize until the arcade version became emulatable on MAME, which was only in the last like year or so. For a very long time, it would freeze at the start of this stage 1-2. But they took the original cutscenes were all hand animated, and they went back and motion captured, like mocap acted all the cutscenes. In terms of extra content, yes, this does have a ton of exclusive extra content. Oh, I am playing sloppy. But yeah, it's a fascinating version, because Time Crisis 1 had to downgrade its visuals because it came, you know, that port's on PlayStation 1. And then for Time Crisis 2, by the time they got around to doing it, you know, they were able to just straight up upgrade the visuals. And then Time Crisis 3 straight up runs on PlayStation, not exactly PlayStation 2 hardware, but like basically PlayStation 2 hardware. So the home port of that, the main game, is basically the same. And then Time Crisis 4 is a weird one because that ran on, again, PlayStation 2 based hardware, but it was like slightly more powerful. So then that got a PlayStation 3 release. But they, again, like this version of Time Crisis 2, they completely redid the graphics. Though they kind of went they went a bit overboard. And that version actually has major performance issues if you don't play it in like 480p mode. And unfortunately, because you know, I'm in the PAL region, you actually can't force PAL firmware PlayStation 3s into 480p. For some reason, they'll only go down to 576p 50 Hz. And if you do that to Time Crisis 4, it kills the frame. It like forces the frame rate, I think, down to like 25 frames per second. It looks terrible. So I either hope to emulate that, or at some point I need to soft mod my PlayStation 3 and force the firmware into NTSC mode, and then I can do it. But I need to see how. I've never done PlayStation 3 emulation, so not only do I have to deal with that, I need to see if you can even use the Sindens to emulate the GunCon 3, which was an infrared-based light gun. If not, funny enough, there actually are GunCon 3. Hold on, I'm gonna try and do this with the mic. There actually are GunCon 3 drivers for Windows, so maybe I could use my actual GunCon 3s with the PlayStation 3 emulators that way.
I knew it. These maniacs have got the military satellite. And they're moving it by train.
We better get going. There's no time to lose.
I think I might change this. I might unmap all the off-screen inputs. Because if I want to put like the gun down, sometimes it will or act like I'm highlighting stuff on screen.
That fool Yakov! How dare he fail? Hurry it up!
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that patch fixed the main FMVs.
Look over there.
Because I remember when I was messing with this yesterday, they had some audio issues. But I guess it didn't fix the attract screen FMV. Okay, there's still some audio issues. How this actually compares to CRT-based light guns, though? Is it to that quality? Not 100%, but it is really damn close. Like the fact that I can play without keeping the mouse cursor on the screen, and I am making most shots. Like, it's still, like, hard to believe that we can do this now. Oh! I waited too long. See, I'm not getting every shot, but the fact I'm hitting the people up on the balcony here, like, that is tremendous. I messed with the GunCon 3, the infrared-based one, and that is not as good as this. At least the way I had it configured. It seems like you really want to get the setup an exact way. Boom. Yeah, I'm just gonna move that a bit. Hey, welcome back, Iram and Batabo. Also, yes, you might not have seen this. Oh, okay. Hitting both of those point bonus guys there is really hard. Even on real hardware. Ah, shit. But yeah, this is my baghead with hair. I need to come up with a better name for it, honestly. But I didn't want my to deal with all my puppetry stuff today, so this is my slightly easier to use one. But yeah, it's got like kind of like a punk, like that's the main thing, is it's got like the punk kind of like half part thing. I'm bad. I want to have proper names for all the bags. I just can never come up with good ones for some reason. Yeah, I always remember that guy's there. That guy's hard to spot. Ooh. I'll come with proper names one day. It's a weird thing to say. I thought about it, and the reason why I have trouble is because in my head they're all just Johnny Baghead. So outside the mask I've made for Jebediah, who I think I'm gonna make sure he comes back this year. Oh, but yeah, I'm loving the Sindens. When my nephew's around, I'll have to test how it's with 2 people. Yeah, they're skins. They're alternative skins. Exactly, Jodria. The way this is, this boss theme sounds, it's very Tekken 3. Oh, oh, oh. Ooh, alright. Yeah. Joey will point out that guy's not even got robot arms. He could just swing a missile. Yeah, he's just the buffest guy ever made.
Did you get him?
Sure, that's how that works. Yeah, I'll have to look in. Maybe there's like a better emulation setting that helps with the FMV issue, but that per game patch doesn't really seem to work.
My dream is just about complete. And the world will be mine.
Your project is going down in flames. They'll be here soon.
I'm expecting them. Why do you think I kept you alive?
General Diaz, we've got trouble.
So soon?
Ugh.
Wild dog, it's time. Yes, sir.
I'll mention I'm currently using software render. Now I will say I think for Lightgun stuff, to get like the best frame rate and picture quality, I might actually at some point swap over to a different renderer, so I don't have to deal with the interlacing. There is only one Lightgun game on PlayStation 2. Oh, that was a last second. That was a last second shot if I've ever seen one. Well, that wasn't. Oh, I gotta be careful. Yeah, point bonus guy. You could tell I've played this game a lot because I'm anticipating a lot of the enemies. Oh, that yellow one's hard to hit though. There we go. A wild dog, let's go. Oh, I should have took out the missile guys earlier. Whew. Nice.
Wild dog, why is it taking you so much time to get rid of them? All right, I'll take care of this myself.
Yeah. I do like the gimmick that you fight Wild Dog for a bit. He fights, you know, 1 on 2, 2 on 1, and then you get to this part and it kind of emulates what you know, Heath and Robert are doing. where they're fighting a duo now. No, they really expand on that concept in Time Crisis 3. I found out something yesterday, actually, and I feel really dumb that I didn't know this sooner. Those guys that are brown that show up in duos, those show up in single play mode for you to, I believe they're so you pick which paths you take. So if I wanted to go on Robert's path, you would shoot the one on the right. But I think naturally I always shoot from left to right when I clear out screens, so I almost never see... I never see those alternative paths. I see Iram Bitabo saying about the USB foot pedal. Sinden makes one, but it's very expensive because it's arcade quality. But so I am gonna just buy an actual foot pedal myself and just map it to the C button. Oh shit! Oh, I gotta be careful. I might game over here. Yeah, see those two guys? I believe that's how you pick what path you go on. And yeah, I could put a keyboard on the ground and do that.
Oh, thank you.
I would want to do that with not my nice keyboard though. I might get out my dodgy keyboard and do that with it. Technically, I could plug my racing wheel in and use the foot pedals on that. But I kind of don't want to have to put that in to do that because I have to USB that in and put that into a power outlet to work. So yeah, I'm just gonna look into a decent foot pedal. I also want a foot pedal for the rhythm game guitar stuff I do as well, because I really want to do foot pedal activation for star power instead of tilting. Oh! Okay, this is my last continue. Oh, the most convoluted way to replace the foot pedal is to buy Donkey Konga's, the GameCube bongo controllers, the DK bongos, right? I have the GameCube to Wii U USB adapter, so it would be to plug that in and use those. Also, yeah, I would love to be able to play Spill Battalion one day. I'm kind of hoping that at some point I can get enough different controllers and just get enough, because I have a racing wheel with pedals. I'll have to show it in another stream. I actually have a PlayStation 2 flight stick now. But the hope is that eventually I can just get enough random controllers and map to the right inputs in Zemu, the Xbox emulator. Ooh. But there we go. That's Time Crisis 2. Woo! That's the thing. Time Crisis 2 is short. It's probably the shortest one in the series that I played, at least. I can't comment on Time Crisis 5. I have watched Cassidy play some of it, but it froze like near the final chapter. and we didn't figure out how to access like level skip, so oh yeah, Jojo, yeah. Donkey Kong Barrel Blast is a game that people speculate was meant to use the bongos, but it just doesn't. Yeah, that FMV patch does not work. 8%, I think that's pretty good. Ugh. There we go. Yeah, Aaron Patel was saying, yeah, I think the theory was a GameCube game to use the bongos and got ported to the Wii. It's weird, though, because they could have just put both control methods in. The Wii had GameCube ports on it. But also, yeah, that game. Remember, if you're a fan of the Bad Game Hall of Fame, for the long-running Cursed Kart Racer series that took over a year, it ranked the worst. It was the worst kart racer. Because even if it controlled okay, like it's as a game, it's also just terrible. It's not well designed. Now I had the privilege. I wasn't part of that series. I did some additional work on the side, but I did have the privilege of playing the second worst kart racer, which is Connect Joyride. So yeah, so here's some of the bonus stuff. Agent Trainer is where you're like just doing like target practice in a gallery. Quick and Crash, this is like a remake of like a really old Namco shooter. I think this was like here we go.
Hello there. Let's start the game. Keep an eye on your aim and do your best.
I think this is like a remake of an arcade machine.
Set the gun into the holder. Set the gun into the holder.
Oh, this might not work on emulator.
Set the gun into the holder. Set the gun into the holder. Set the gun into the holder. Ready? Go.
Oh.
Oh, great. Well, the results aren't so good. Level 2. Set the gun into the holder. Set the gun into the holder.
The problem is because I'm emulating mouse.
Set the gun into the holder. Set the gun into the holder. Set the gun into the holder. Set the gun in. Ready? Go. Oh.
Okay, I could kind of make it work.
Well done. You are ranking well. Level 3. Ready? Go. Oh, great.
I have to aim to the black part on the side of the screen.
You are ranking well. Level 4. This is the final phase. Shoot the cup. Ready? Set. Ready? Go. Not bad. Let's look at your overall.
I'll definitely say when I've played on real hardware, I've done a lot better.
Perfect. Great. We await your next challenge.
But yeah, I think this is like a game recreation of a really old Namco arcade game. But we have that. Shoot Away 2. Which this one I did mess with yesterday. This is a old clay pigeon game. You want to see some retro visuals here. This is hard, by the way. Even on an actual CRT, the shots are so tiny. There we go. Oh, yeah, that was a bit off. Oh, that didn't count. Oh, I was way off there. But you can see I did way better yesterday. I got 590, which means that I can show you the remake version they added to this.
Take your mark. Pull! Pull!
Pull!
Pull!
This version's easier than the retro one, I'll say.
Pull!
Even though I just fucked up there.
Pull!
I'll say one thing you also have to get a bit used to compared to playing on Lightguns on the CRT
Pull!
is you kind of have to... I feel like you have to move a bit more. You can't just lightly pivot the same way you can with a Guncon 2, I feel like.
Pull!
Ah.
Pull! Pull!
There we go. Look at that. I could sometimes do it.
Game over.
And yeah, they've got different difficulties. Things like that. And then, like I said, Agent Trainer is just, yeah, like a literal shooting range. Crisis Mission is the main meat of the extra stuff. You begin the training exercise, follow the mission instructions, achieve the mission quota to successfully complete the mission. If a civilian is shot, you will fail even if the quota is achieved. So that's a mechanic that's not even in base Time Crisis, is civilians. There are also missions with other rules, such as bullet restrictions. And then that's, yeah. And this is funny, yeah. They give you a backstory, but literally the backstory is just your training. That's all it is. So let me get a bit more water and then we'll mess with some of this. Let me mess with some of these. Alright, defeat all 23 enemies. Oh, sorry.
Action!
But yeah, it's fun. They actually make new encounters in the arcade mode levels. Oh, I got him! I got the time guy, the bonus points guy, like just at the last second there. I'll mention, by the way, if you don't know typical Time Crisis gameplay and point system, the way it works is the quicker you can shoot an enemy from them appearing on the screen. I figure like it starts off at 100 and then if you wait longer it takes longer. But the main gimmick is that you're fighting against time and you can triple tap enemies to get more points and also beat stages quicker because if you shoot them once, their like hit animations are longer, whereas if you shoot them multiple times, it will skip the animation. So, and also there is like bonus points for like a combo of unmissed hits. So that's the main, like, when you're going for score attack or time attack and you're getting like really down to, you know, like getting to the upper echelon of score.
Action!
That's what you're doing. And I believe where you shoot as well does give you point bonuses, I think. Yeah, headshots are worth more points. So yeah. You see how low the timer was there? If I was not triple hitting enemies there, I probably would have run out of time. We'll do day one at least, and then we'll mess with a different game. There's one in particular I want to showcase, especially because of Suzuka's built-in patch. It's kind of, this is the dream way to... There we go. So, yeah, so that's the one I think to get the most points, you would have to hit them in the head as soon as they appear. I got 400 because I didn't go for headshot there. We might look at Vampire Knight, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. That might not have a patch yet. Any game that has the patch, this is a cool thing about the way PSSX2 now works now, is you can do, you can have patches integrated into the emulator. So you don't have to manually patch your ROM. You just go into a game settings and you can just enable it from there. Oof. And yeah, I'll have to mess with this with other emulators as well. Oh, that guy. Ian Turbo asking, it's just Vampire Knight on PS2, right? There's no actual House of Dead games on there. I didn't know this. There is a Japan-only port of Typing of the Dead, which is based on House of the Dead 2. Also, hang on. Oh. I'm gonna reveal some behind the scenes stuff, but I think I need to build like a nose bridge into this mask, because by the end of streams, my nose, like the tip of my nose, gets sore because it's being like squished. Oh! You see that yellow guy? I missed him. But yeah, Vampire Knight is really close. You can even tell it's the same engine. That it's like House of Dead 2 or 3. What I need to do is I need to look into how the Xbox port of House of Dead 3 emulates, because that has House of Dead 2 in it as well. Yeah, Vampire Knight's a weird one because it's like it's Capcom and Sega. No, it's Namco and Sega working on it. Does it have... Oh, you know what, Jodriel? I think I will play that next because you do need to see that. Oh, I saw the points bonus guy there very late. I did see him though. Oh! How would you get that guy? Oh, that was close. There's also Ninja Assault, which is another, like, cross-developer team. I believe that because that also, like, the arcade version straight up just ran on Naomi hardware. Haha, got you this time. Oh, yeah, that... They were having a fucking laugh with that guy, that points bonus guy there. I just want to see how many missions... Okay, I think I remember this one. This is a tough one if I remember right. Oh no. Okay. Okay, no, this is a different mission than I thought. Oh yeah, this is a hard one though. No, the one I was thinking of, there's a later mission where you're on the boat. Okay, so I think I have to prioritize the machine gun and the red guy first. Oh! Almost. Yeah, yeah. That was really close that time. Oh, that was bad. Yeah, 2 seconds, you can't aim too much. Oh, that was terrible. Oh, I didn't hit him? I could have swore I hit him. Oh well. Okay, that was almost it. I just need to... There we go! Haha! That was clean. I hit the red guy before he even shot that time. But yeah, there's a lot of missions under here. I don't remember exactly how much, but there's loads of missions, and then the final mission is a boss fight against Richard Miller, who is the protagonist of the first game. I'm just going to make sure it's saved, because I didn't see a saving prompt there. There we go. What's in the database? Oh, don't have this yet. And I'll mess with it another time. But if you beat story mode twice, I believe one of these is... I forget what they are. One of them is mirror mode, I think. One is... I think this one is unlimited ammo. One of these might be a machine gun. One's wide ammo. I forget what they are. Maybe mirror mode's not in this. But we'll look at that another time. But yeah, I could do double gun at some point. I'll mess with that. And then yeah, the link. I need to see if you can do link cable stuff on PSX too. But let me. Swap games here. There's one mouse. There we go. It's just easier to handle it this way. Okay. Oh. It is a double gun must be equal parts funny and hard. A little bit. I'll definitely say with these, I would say a foot pedal's required. The reason it worked on PlayStation 2 is if you're holding one of... Here, I'll use it with the blue gun to demonstrate. If you're holding a GunCon 2 with one hand and you want to still use the reload cover button, the D-pad was on where the hammer is here. It was back here. So you could use your thumb to reload and play that way. Or, I guess, because there was the C button down here, you could also use your pinky. But that's a bit uncomfortable. I would do it this way. No, there were some unofficial light guns that did come with foot pedals. So you could have maybe used one of those as well. But pretty much all of the light guns that weren't made by Namco didn't have as good detection for some reason. Let's go check something quick. Okay, that's all good. Oh, okay. What is the time? I don't know if Capcom made any light gun, like, controllers for PlayStation 1 and 2. I'm talking, like, non-developer companies. I have at least one of them for the PlayStation 1, and it's okay. But if you want to hit anything that's on, like, the lower quarter of the screen, the detection just, like, barely works for some reason. And that's, like, playing on an actual hardware on the CRT. There's also the Konami ones, but I've never messed with those. Okay, so I'm gonna do something quick here. We're gonna look at Crisis Zone. But I'm actually going to disable the patch first, because I want to show how this game looks on real hardware and why being able to play it this way is so cool. So here, let me get the game running, stick it to full screen, turn on my border, and then you'll see it resize there. There's a button on in the software I mentioned earlier that will resize the game for the border. It's not perfect. It is cutting off like a tiny bit of the image, but not enough to affect gameplay. So, Crisis Zone is a Time Crisis spin-off. Straight up in the arcade, it was even called Time Crisis. Only this NTSC release is called Time Crisis.
Within the complex, there are
We're just gonna skip that intro.
Crisis Zone.
Also, this PS2 version, this is really loud. I'm probably gonna have to turn it down in my fins. But we'll just jump in here. But instead of it being static cover based with a handgun, this game is you're mobile and you have a bulletproof shield you bring up, and your main weapon is a submachine gun that has an incredibly high rate of fire. I actually don't know what the fire rate is. It is nuts. So, how do you get this working with a light gun on actual hardware? You do this. They put this massive filter on the screen, this fog filter, so it can track where you're aiming on a CRT. That's kind of horrendous because you can't see the visuals anymore when that happens, you know? Yeah. Yeah, it's the problem is the arcade game was an IR gun based game, so it didn't have flashing, so it didn't have this issue. And whereas the GunCon 2 on PlayStation 2 was CRT based. So I get why, because if they had done flashing, it probably would have been flashing at 30 flashes a second or something really high. Compared to Time Crisis 3 has a submachine gun, but the fire rate is way slower, so the flashing is not as bad as that. But here, the bullet stream is like near constant, is the problem. But what I'll do, so I'm going to have to, I think what I'm going to have to do, I might actually have to buy a separate microphone, like a lapel mic, and use that next time. Here, I could just straight up show it. There's this no GunCon flash patch by Suzuka. And this also removes the fog effect. So you enable it here. And then we'll reset the game. Let me get the border configured. Where's my mouse? There it is. And we get situated here. Iran Bitabo asking, do you know Kenshin Dragon Quest? I've not heard of that one actually, no. The ones, let's see, we'll quickly go over them just because I need to give my hand a rest. Obviously, I know Time Crisis. That's the main one I started with, and that's always going to be my favorite. Not just because I started with it, but I like that instead of that there's a way to block damage. I've always it doesn't ruin them, but I prefer that over games where taking damage is based on like how quickly you defeat an enemy or hit a phase kind of thing. I like the block mechanic. I think it's a bit more tactile, makes you more immersed in it. But that's my favorite series. I would say House of the Dead would be my second then. So I'm familiar with those. There's a Taito one I forgot the name of. The set in a museum. A lot of the pre-3D ones I'm less familiar with. Like there's the Namco arcade one, I think, that's kind of based on Starsky and Hutch. And then there's some really rare ones. Like there's a couple of like similar ones to House of the Dead, like Konami made one. I don't think you can emulate right now. I don't remember the name of it. And then there's one on the Hyper Neo Geo. Yeah, I'll read this. Yeah, Immortal says, it's from 2003. It's a remake of Dragon Quest 1 as an on-rail game. It was a popular plug-and-play game, but the big thing is that the controller, aka the sword, is a controller tool. There's no hardware in it. It's just a plastic toy. However, the blade of the sword, the plastic is extremely shiny and reflective, and so the plug-and-play console actually tracks the direction the light goes. It's supremely accurate. Issue is it's too accurate, so you might register Oh, weird. I'll have to look up footage of that then. That's fascinating. That's similar to the Konami Castlevania arcade from 2008, but that was an IR based. I say IR based. I think it's actually closer to how the PlayStation Move works, where it tracks light. This, funny enough, the way this works is kind of like how the PlayStation Move works. It's just flipped. Instead of it being a light source on a controller, it's the cameras on the controller, and then the light source is the screen. Also, the controller itself, I believe, is doing the algorithm tracking as opposed to the console. But let's get this sorted out here. Yep. Whoop. That brightness adjustment thing to Strav doesn't work on emulator, but that's fine because you don't need it, especially with this patch, because it just removes that filter.
Time crisis. Crisis zone.
But yeah, for some reason, I think I only had a demo for this. I never got this back in the day on PlayStation 2. I only got it in the last couple of years. And then, yeah, seeing how it works with an actual light gun, I was like, oh, this is not the way to play it. So I've only messed with this a little bit. This is actually a really hard game. I think it's harder than any of the Time Crisis games on PlayStation 2. It's like closer to the difficulty of maybe Time Crisis 1 on PS1, where you don't have mids, where you have to do with checkpoints. So yeah, so the gimmick is you have the submachine gun. It fires at a really high fire rate. And you have the shield, so you actually move around stages. Most enemies have health bars, and the big thing is that there's a lot of shootable items in the environment. And you actually do get points for it. So if you're really going for score attack, you have to be just like that. But yeah, enemies are tanky is the difference. And also the enemies themselves have like destructible armor points. Early on they don't have great aim. Later on they do. You pretty much only have to worry when they have that danger indicator on them. In Time Crisis 1, it's a lot harder to read. There we go. That's actually the trickiest enemies in this game, honestly, are the melee ones. Because the melee ones are one-hit kill. Like, they just hit you, and they pop up so quick. That's usually where you lose hits from. Because you have, like, they're really hard to do on reaction. Iram Bitabo asking if the Sun Hill arcade game had a console port. Sadly, no. I don't know why, because it would have... I'm pretty sure it would have run on PlayStation 3. It's like of that era, and it would have worked fine with the Move controller. I guess just because the Move controllers came out a couple of years afterwards, they just didn't bother. They honestly should have ported that one, Castlevania Arcade, and then there was one more that I've forgotten the name of. But it's another Konami one from that era. That's like House of the Dead, but it's more like intentional horror. It's weird because there were a lot of rail shooters on PlayStation 3s when the PlayStation Move came out. You know, you got House of the Dead 3 and 4 were downloadable titles. House of the Dead Overkill got the director's cut as well. Both Resident Evil, the Wii ones. Yeah, 4D Haunted, yes. I think that's Konami. I could be wrong. But again, it looks similar hardware to what House of the Dead 4 was using, so it could have, I think it could have ran on PS3. But yeah, both Resident Evil, the Wii ones, got PlayStation 3 versions. And then, of course, as Taba mentioned earlier, there was Time Crisis Raising Storm. That also had the arcade version of Time Crisis 4 in it. Oh, that's Namco. That's even weirder they didn't put it out on PS3 then. Because Raising Storm has the arcade version of Raising Storm, a bunch of original console content. It also has online, which I want to try one day. Seriously. It also comes with the arcade version of Time Crisis 4. And another game called Dead Storm Pirates. Tomb of Necrosis Factor. I think I have it downloaded, so I'll look at it another day. I'm not going to play for too much longer, because I'm actually getting hungry. I didn't realize the time is. But let me load up 2 more things. We'll look at Vampire Knight quickly. No, I want to check something. Okay, so this does have the non-flashing patch, which is good. But there we go. Bing. Whoop. Yeah, I have to keep moving because I find that the tracking for the Sinden works best when you're a certain distance away. And I should have checked. I don't know. I have this monitor on an arm, but I don't know if I can move it backwards the way I have it set up. Here's the thing. It's sad with this release. More modern arcade shooters should get PC versions. Just let them work with a mouse, and then that means that opens the gate for people to play them any way they want. Like Time Crisis 5 and House of the Dead 5, it's annoying because that's essentially what it is. You have to use Technoparrot right now, which is fine, but you know it's not as easy as it would be if we just got official PC ports. And bear in mind, those games are running on PCs in arcades, and I keep them arcade exclusive for like a couple of years, but those are very old games at this point. You can give them home versions now. Let me just boop. So this is Vampire Knight. Let me check the options quick to see if there's anything I need to mess with. Okay, we could change that at some point, but I'll leave that now. Oh, this is nice. They just give you 9 credits at the start. I wonder if you can still unlock a free play though. Yep. Adjustment brightness. Yep. Hit load save. Also, VR. VR would be a good way to get Lightgun stuff working. But this, I believe this version also has like a ton of extra content as well. But here, we'll play arcade mode for like 10-20 minutes. But yeah, here you could kind of see that the I'll try it again. I'll try the input again.
We're here at last.
Yes. How long I've waited for this moment.
Where the fuck is my mouse? Hang on. I have to... There we go. No, this is something I need to mess with in the software. There's an auto adjust button, but it's not perfect. I need to see if there's a way to do it more. You could also make the white border a bit smaller as well. But you know, you have to kind of mess and see how good the tracking works. But yeah, this is, I find, such an interesting game because I'm pretty sure this is the House of the Dead 3 engine. They've just downscaled it a little bit to run on PlayStation 2. I don't think it's the House of the Dead 2 engine. Ninja Assault, that is. But obviously, we never got House of the Dead 3 on PlayStation 2. Yeah, so that's the gimmick with these guys. Is you want to shoot these creatures off.
Please help the others. Wait! Who are you?
We hunt the creatures of the dark. Vampire hunters.
I'm clarifying because the other guy didn't say our title. God, look at that fucking gun design. I assume that's what the arcade gun looked like. It's so extra. Yeah, we'll do one more chapter, and then I'll look at something else. Might look at Virtua Cop for a little bit. No, that one will have flashing, so just a heads up on that.
As might have been expected of a vampire hunter.
Wonderful. What interesting experimental material they are.
As expected. Not bad.
Interesting. Let's see them do better.
I find this interesting because House of the Dead 3 has better voice acting than this. This sounds like House of the Dead 2 voice acting, which I'm not complaining.
Let's go.
It's just funny. Heck, that Metal Clan sound effect is just straight up from House of the Dead 2. Oh, I missed the health up. Also, I think that's how split paths work in this game. Is if you savor at certain points or not. Maybe it is the House of the Dead 2 engine. Because that reload sound effect is... This is a weird one. You know, I think it is the House of the Dead 2 engine. It's not the House of the Dead 3 engine. It's funny though, because Ninja Assault... Don't come! Again, it's the classic line. I don't know why so many light gun game, like rail shooters, especially Sega ones, localize stay away as don't come. But I love it. I've never actually done this path before, actually. I think when I messed with this before, I stayed on the top path.
Why? Why is this happening?
This can't be. My wife.
Light up.
My daughter.
I got life up though, dude, so I don't care. Whee! Oh. Also, yeah, in terms of like the score and fighting enemies, Sega ones also tend to not like you spamming shots too much.
Reload. Reload.
No, with those guys you kind of have to.
Stay back.
Oh, so it's 2 years before House of Dead 3.
Your powers.
Yeah, it's like an enhanced House of Dead 2 engine. Yeah, thank you for looking up here in the Turbo.
What a joy. Finally meet such powerful ones. Draw your guns. Don't disappoint me.
Oh, 2000. Okay, it was way earlier than I realized. Yeah, that's the funny bit about a lot of the arcade ports and conversions of rail shooters to PlayStation 2. A lot of them came out way later than the original arcade versions. Because, yeah, Time Crisis 2 and Crisis Zone are like... I believe those are both late 90s. Oh, this was 2001. Okay, so this would have been, like, pretty much the same time as Time Crisis 2. Interesting. Again, I got the PlayStation... I haven't figured out the exact time, but I'm pretty sure I got the PS2 early 2003 or, like, December 2002. So a lot of that, you know, the stuff that was, like, before that, a lot of that I missed out on. Some of it I did. Some I did buy. But, you know, I was getting my gaming news from official PlayStation 2 magazine, so they didn't really cover older stuff that much. I'll have to look up footage of the arcade release because it might have different graphics, like Time Crisis 2 does. I'll do say, House Dead 3 is a way better looking game than this. That's a really cool looking game. Especially, funny enough, the PS3 version, they actually improved the visuals like more. That version looks way better than the arcade version like ever did. It's really funny. Because I have House of Dead 3, I have the PS3 version, and I also have the Wii version. And the Wii version, I thought, wait, why does this look weird? And I realized, oh wait, the PS3 version's like enhanced visuals. I'll say, not a great boss fight. this guy. There we go.
Why protect the humans? What are you fighting for?
What am I fighting for?
Is there no way you free us from fate?
In Vital by mentioning, speaking of House of Dead, the guys who did the House of Dead 1 and 2 remakes and the Panzer Dragoon remake just did a Panzer Dragoons Y. It's considered the worst they've done so far. That's impressive, because every one they release gets like considered worse and worse. It's actually, I'm surprised the House of Dead 1 remake got considered decently. Some people I talk to don't.
Lose to humans?
But
We are not made for this.
my understanding is, yeah, House of the Dead 2 remake is worse than the first one, and the first one's already not great. Alright, I think we're going to briefly look at one more game. Let me, I'm honestly surprised. Yeah, Aaron Batama mentions Maximilian Dude was a defender of Remake 1, but as soon as 2 dropped, he was like, nope, I give up. I'm honestly surprised how much he defended House of the Dead 1 remake, because he owns an actual House of the Dead 1 arcade machine. And I remember the YouTube channel Video Game Esoterica doing like a technical breakdown on some of the issues. For example, sometimes you would shoot zombies in the head, a head model would fall off, and they would still have a head. Like, showing specific comparisons of, like, this enemy should die from a one-hit shot in the head. If you play the remake, it doesn't. And also just the big thing of, like, replacing all the music. It's like, yeah, on PC you can mod that back in, but... So, yeah, Maybe you'll see those remakes on the Bad Game Hall of Fame. You're not going to see them on this channel. When I do the House of Dead Marathon, I'm just going to play the original arcade versions. Or ports if there's a reason I can't get the arcade ones working. But here, let's... Okay, I want to look at one more. You know, I think we'll do Virtua Cop Elite Edition. So yeah, okay, so warning on this one. This one does not have a flash patch. Like I said, I might straight up at Suzuka and say, hey, is there a chance you can make any more of those patches and get them into PCSX2 nightly? Even if you need money, I'll send you a little bit. But we're going to be playing the PAL release. There is a Japan release that runs at 60 Hz. Unfortunately, there's an emulation issue with it where the mouse cursor is misaligned. But it's, you know, it's not going to make that much of a difference. I know there is a way to force 50 Hz games to run at 60 Hz. I just couldn't figure out how to do it. But just, you know, be mindful. About the flashing, if you have to. This won't be as bad as say House of Virtua Cop on Sega Saturn or Dreamcast, because this runs at 60 and it uses the more grey filter. Oh yeah, shoot. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to actually trying Virtua Cop 3. I believe there is a way to emulate that on PC. Oh yeah, I have to use... There we go. But yeah, I wish I knew about this earlier. I do own this on PlayStation 2, and me and my nephew have played through this a couple of times. How do I go back though? There we go. But this does have a lot of cool stuff in it. There's these to unlock, and I believe you unlock these by finding collectibles in the base games. It's a bit weird though, because you don't navigate by pointing this menu. It's all like D-pad and buttons. But they have a simple training mode in this. Gun looseness is a weird option. I believe that's only if you're playing with a controller. But I like, again, you could just enable free play. Sight on, I believe. Again, I think that might be... Oh yeah, so this is an interesting thing, is gun select. I believe if you enable this, it means that you can just start with any of the like pick-upable guns and things like that. Oh, and this is a funny one. This is interesting. So, Virtua Cop 1 and 2 are very similar games, only have minor differences. What this lets you do is it lets you play Virtua Cop 1 and 2 with either the Virtua Cop 1 or 2 rule sets. It's such a interesting setting. Let me just save. Let me enable autosave here. It's cool they put a D-pad on this, honestly. Gives it a lot more functionality. I'll have to do a playthrough of Dead Rising, Dead Aim. Sorry, Resident Evil Dead Aim. And the fact this has a D-pad is great. Because otherwise, I would have been... You know, I would have had to have, like, held a different controller in my hand and used that. But I'm going to mess with this. The reason why, so... This is the stupidest thing to be angry about. But it still gets to me to this day. So I didn't know about this PlayStation 2 release of this. Because, again, it came out early. And, funny enough, this was a Japan and PAL only. There was no North American release of this for some reason. Don't know why. The best thing I could guess maybe is, like, 9/11 Panic. But that doesn't make sense with this game. Especially because you're playing as police. But there is a Eurogamer review of this game that gave it a 4 out of 10. And they claim that the visuals are essentially the same as the Sega Saturn version, and according to the review, they even loaded up the Sega Saturn version to compare. That is complete bullshit. This is a from the ground up graphical remake. Not only are the textures different, the models different, they even added geometry to the levels. If you compare this to the arcade versions, like, for example, we'll get into Virtua Cop 1 here. The cityscape you'll see is got more buildings compared to how it looked on any platform before. Like, even the Dreamcast version, these visuals are vastly improved. Now, it is the same animations. That's the one thing that's the same, but you'd want those the same because you want them to be arcade accurate. There we go. There's my reload button. I prefer to have a button to reload than off screen. Whoops. It's just, you know, I'm literally getting tilted at a review from over 20 years ago. You know, I shouldn't. Yeah. Flashing, if you play like a PlayStation 1 or Sega Saturn light gun shooter, that flashing is a lot worse because those games are running at 30 frames per second or less. There you go. There's a gallery thing. Haha. Oh, he got me. But it's just, you know, people, you know, a lot of gamers use terms like objective RON. That they think like there's quote objective quality that a video game can have. And that's not true. But that review is objectively RON. This does not look like the Sega Saturn version. Like, it's not even close. Yeah, I purposely game over there because I just want to jump around a bit. And boot. But it's just, yeah. It's just, it's the problem is, it's like a part of me, deep down, actually wants to contact them and just say, look, this is not personal. I'm, you know, I really want to know why this is wrong. Like, did someone, like, if I'm being charitable, the best I can think of is the claim that they actually loaded up the Saturn version to compare the visuals is just not true. And maybe someone on staff claimed they did, and they're going now off word of mouth. That's still bad. You should put that in a review if you didn't actually check it. But if you had compared these visuals side by side, like even if you just look at screenshots, right? You could tell it's not the same visuals. I'll show you like the opener of Virtua Cop 2 especially. And yeah, there's the old, yeah, Ian Batabo mentions the old Alien Resurrection review that says the first person dual stick controls was the most horrifying aspect of it. What's funny about that is like other shooters on console had that control scheme as an option before the year 2000. Both the N64 GoldenEye that has it. Perfect Dark has it. The Quake. Both Quake versions on N64. Pretty much all of, like, no. All N64 games, okay, so GoldenEye and Perfect Dark have a dual controller, dual stick mode. But even if you're using one controller, they have it where movement on the D-pad is forward, back, strafe, and then the left, and then the analog stick is aiming. That's the same control scheme. So all I can figure is that this guy just had never played those versions and had only ever played ones that used the more traditional forward turn control. Yeah. It's that's the thing. I don't like to bash on reviews too much because I think people kind of get the wrong idea about them a lot of the time. Like, not understanding that the way games are reviewed to get the most clicks and all that sucks, you know? Because you have to play in such a limited amount of time, and you're building for, like, launch day clicks. After, like, the first, like, couple of days, the reviews stop getting traffic and stuff like that. So you don't get to spend, like, the weeks and weeks that, like, I like reviews that spend, like, a really long extended time on games. But, you know, that's not realistic. See, I could see someone maybe moaning about the music, because the music is definitely the same as the arcade version, but it's good music, so I don't care. Haha. Oh! Okay, I'm going to continue there because I want the shotgun. So yeah, that's how you get extra guns in this. It's just, they're either hidden, or I believe if you kill enemies in a certain way. But as soon as you get hit, you lose it. But I like that this version lets you just, oh, if I want to use a certain gun type, you could just... There we go. See, this flashing might be a bit rough. Because it's a bit faster, because this is a triple burst weapon. Oh, it's gone now. So yeah, I look at that review of Virtua Cop Elite Edition, and I just have to assume, okay, the guy was rushing, he was making assumptions, but didn't want to admit to it, so just said, oh yeah, I checked. Sure I did. Also, yeah, the God Hand review, again, it gets harped on too much, but that review has objectively wrong statements in it about, like, enemy variety and some other things. At the same, like, that's the problem, though, because at the same time, I could get how someone who maybe played that game in a hurried review sense wouldn't get with it, because there's a lot of hidden depth and mechanics in that game that the game doesn't necessarily teach you. But, you know, there's issues outside of that as well. So. Help me! Hell yeah! Alright, I'm actually just gonna... Yeah. We'll load up the Virtua Cop 2 level bin. And then I think I'm gonna... end for the night just because I think I need to go get food. Okay. Jojo mentioning if God Hand came out around the time that there was a thing against Japanese games, right? That was a bit early. That was a couple of years later. There was definitely some of that sentiment growing. But I feel like the full like, for example, when JRPG became like a kind of dirty term, it was like a pejorative, derogatory term. That happened later. That was like 2008-9 onwards, kind of time. But I don't want to say anything specific against the author of that God Hand review. I have no idea if that was the case there. Here, I'll read a few more comments. Also, yeah. Well, it wasn't just reviews. I saw Tabo mentioning... What was it? Wind Waker? Well, I just remember with Wind Waker how the gaming... Not even reviewers, just like gamers in general rejected it for like looking kiddie and whatever. It's like, fuckers, that's one of the best video games ever made. Like, it having a art style is not a bad thing. Like, yeah, you got the mature art direction Twilight Princess, but I think every time I replay that game, I come up feeling more and more mid about it. It has some like great moments, but like the more I play, the more it's like, yeah, this is kind of more rudimentary. Okay, also, I see Iran Bataba mentioned the N64 mouse. So the N64 mouse, there's a video by Stop Skeletons from Fighting covering it. I highly recommend watching. But to mention the point here, The N64 mouse, when you plug it into the console just detects it as an analog stick with the A and the B button. It doesn't actually detect it as a bespoke controller. So the mouse works with technically every game. Obviously, not every game can be played with just the analog stick and the A-B buttons. But any game where you can either, that's the controls, or you can remap it that way, will work. Hang on a second here. Just had a bot there. And yeah, there's also, you know, Gaming Press, the more the issue they're having now is just fucking all the shit with AI and magazines going and things like that. That is, like I said, it's sad because it's not great. The problem is though is that they're also are beholden to publishers. It's like paid reviews is not a real thing, but there is mutual benefit thing. There is definitely we don't want to piss this company off because they might blacklist us stuff, and that has affected stuff in the past. The idea though that like just we just give this reviewer like $1,000 and they say our game's perfect, like that's if that happens, then how comes no one's ever come forward about it? And yeah, in an ideal world, you would get what like retrospective reviews of games are like, where it's like, yeah, I've played this game through 10 times and I've been analyzing it in my head for like a year, if not years. But that's not viable, and unfortunately, that's not what the average gamer wants. The average gamer is like, what's it out of 10? Am I going to buy this in launch week? And it's a shame that this art form is looked in that consumer, disposable way. Also, yeah, Metacritic has also come out and said, hey, if you have an AI-generated review, we'll remove it and we'll blacklist you, which kudos to them. That is awesome that they took that stance. Also, welcome back to the stream. I think that's Sito. You have to forgive me. I have to keep like moving my setup to to do this today. So let me just hang on a second. There we go.
Big chase.
Here we'll do a little bit of the start of Virtua Cop 2, and then I will need to go. Also, to sort out Minnie. She wants to leave the room, so she's scratching at the carpet. I don't know why. Minnie doesn't meow. She doesn't really make noise with her mouth. She has tried to meow like maybe like 2 or 3 times in her entire life, because I have noticed her do it.
Let's go.
I should mention, by the way, if you're not familiar with Virtua Cop, so yeah, that big circle around them, once that goes red, that's when they're gonna hit you. And yeah, the zoom in is all automatic. And a justice shot is if you shoot them in a way that would disarm them. And also, yeah, you can't shoot those guys there. But as I showed in Virtua Cop 1, you can hit enemies early as well, like that. Yeah, well, yeah, Ben, I think Virtua Cop, the first one, might have been the first polygonal rail shooter. But the depth is definitely in getting the justice shots. This version, it's fine in like the weapon bonuses, because those are like very hidden. And the gallery stuff as well. I bet that guy that ran across there, I bet if I shot him, that would have been a gallery unlock. I'm going to play for a bit longer, hang on. All the... Yeah, so I was saying, it was the first polygonal one. They also set the schedule for a rail shooter too. You could break the windows. I don't know if it really does anything though. The thing is, there is a... I think if you set it to like either Virtua Cop 1 or 2 mode, that's where you see the score display. Oh yeah, totally didn't run those guys over. I missed it. I think there was a... Oh. There we go. Oh, alright. Well, I think what it was is that most shooters before pre-polygonal were mainly like gallery. They were either like you were static or you were on like a scrolling background. Oh, average cop. Okay. So what I'm actually going to do quickly, just to show it here, is I'm going to show you footage of Virtua Cop 2 on the Sega Saturn. Also, hang on, I need to... There we go, we can... give me a second here. Let me just hide that. But yeah, I still have a lot more rail shooters we'll look at. We've got the... I saw Ian Matabo mention the Gun Survivor. We have Gun Survivor 2, 3, 4. Obviously, the other Time Crisis 3. There's also... the weird ones like Police 24/7, Ninja Assault, Gunfighter 2, Jesse James, Endgame, Guncom 2, which is a weird PAL-only release of Death Crimson OX. There's the Starsky and Hutch game, which, yes, works with a light gun, and the racing wheel. That one's going to be a fun stream when we can do that. I think there's also Kokoto. There's a Kokoto one. I just don't have that downloaded on here. I have it on my actual PS2 hard drive, though. Is this port... Oh, here's a good question for Utaba. Is this port of Virtua Cop considered part of its own thing or part of the Sega Ages line? This is pre-Sega Ages line. This was... So in Japan, it's called Virtua Cop Rebirth, and then the PAL version is called Elite Edition. And it's, you know, a collection of both games. Because, again, both games are built on the same tech. But no, I don't believe it's part of Sega Ages. Because, again, it has additional content as well. It has, like, the training mode and all the gallery stuff. But here, let me get this window up. Let me... Okay, I don't think you're going to hear this with the way I have this set up. I think I can actually make it so you can hear it. I'm just going to do it this way. This is fine for now. So this is what Virtua Cop 2 looked like on Sega Saturn. Yeah, I think I could turn this up a little bit. Like, yeah, it doesn't look like the PS2 version, does it? Like, never mind that the Sega Saturn couldn't do translucent textures. So that's new. Like, there's a specific spot I'll go to in the video. This shot here. I'm gonna get up a comparison video. We're gonna look at both the arcade and the PS2 versions just for comparison. The Virtua Cop 2 arcade. Yeah. You could say, yeah, the PS2 version has a more, like, gritty, darker look. And, you know, you could have aesthetic opinions on that. I know, like, for example, a lot of people like the arcade version of Time Crisis 2 because it has a more, like, retro poppy feel, whereas the PS2 visuals are a more realistic take. Though I prefer. Let's see. Let's see if this video has... Yeah, it has Virtual Cop 2 as well. So here we go. We can... Nope, no, run Finn. So yeah. Here we go. We'll look at... This is arcade. Also, why did the quality just push down to 240p? Granted, it wouldn't be this high resolution on an actual arcade machine. I think, like, the output display here is higher. But this gives you an idea, right? And we'll pause it here. The Sega Saturn version is actually... It's interesting, because it's very close to matching the aesthetic of the arcade version. But obviously, like, having to compress them down to run on a Sega Saturn. Right? Big chase. And just to compare it again. Yeah, let me... Let's go. Not only... Like, look how different this is. There are different buildings in the fucking shop. Like, the front of the shop is completely remodeled. This building is now curved. I'm sorry, guy from like 24 years ago or however it was. You did not look at the Saturn version and compare it to the PS2 version because this looks different. You could say aesthetically you don't like it. That's fine. It is so different. Like, just look at the car model, for example. Yeah, checkmate atheists. And like I said, look, it's not really worth getting upset about. But I don't know. It's kind of like cathartic sometimes to just moan about this stuff. It's funny. It's annoying because there's not many reviews of it. It's on Metacritic as like a really low reviewed game, right? And if you read the comments, because the comments on the Eurogamer article are from like over 20 years ago, they're all pretty much people going, "Oh, that's a shame. Oh, that sucks. It's bad." There's not really any comments going like, "Hey, I've played it." That's not true, but I don't know. Hey, if the guy who did review that ever does see any of my comments, it's like, look, whatever. It was that long ago. I'm not holding it against you. I would still love to know like how you got it so wrong. But, you know, I bet they were reviewing, like, fucking 10 games a week or some shit, and were just rushing stuff, and whatever. Again, it's not like review scores even matter, anyway. But, hey, if you ever do want to play versions of Virtua Cop, and you can't really set up the arcade versions, these are interesting versions to play, especially because you can just play through with like any of the bonus weapons. You can enable like the Virtua Cop 1 scoring system if you prefer that. This is an interesting version to look at. Like I said though, if you're gonna play it in P6X2, you have to play the power release, because for some reason the aiming cursor is misaligned. If you use mouse and emulate a GunCon 2, if you play the Japanese version, hopefully that can get fixed at some point, because otherwise you have to do some really weird stuff to fix that. That being said, though, I'm going to wrap up here because I need to eat and I need to help Minnie and see why she is pouring out the door. But thank you for watching. Hope you had fun. Like I said, there'll be proper full series playthroughs with the Sindens at some point. I'm going to have to prep for that because I've got to figure out like how long that is, what versions. I have to see if I can even get Time Crisis 4 working and Time Crisis 5. Same with like stuff like House of the Dead 3, 4, and 5 and all that. But if you want to know where I'll be next, on Monday, I'll be over at the Bad Game Hall of Fame for Casual Monday. I don't think I'm going to bring the Sindens for that. We'll see. I'll probably will do something on Casual Mondays with the Sinden at some point. I think I'm either going to bring Mad World or Retro Game Challenge for DS. Those are weird picks, but that's the fun with Casual Mondays, is we bring fun stuff, games we love, weird esoteric stuff, and then I'm not sure what we're doing Tuesday yet, but I'll be there over at the Bad Game Hall of Fame for Tuesday, and it's definitely Thursday where we'll be continuing Catwoman, which, oh boy, that game, oh, that's gonna be fun. I'm not sure when the next Johnny Baghead personal stream is going to be. So as always, if you want to see updates, follow me on Blue Sky. If you have to, you can follow me on Twitter as well, but you'll only see going live posts on there or stream announcement posts. If you want just like general updates and random thoughts of Johnny, those are over on Blue Sky. Also, you come here, Minnie. Hello, Minnie. Don't worry, Minnie. I'll let you out in a sec. But yeah, I'm going to head off now. Thank you for joining. Hope you have a good one. Take care, people. Bye.